Sort of a bittersweet day today. It's lovely where we're up to, but it's all bittersweet as today we begin Divrei hayamim bet, the second book of Divrei hayamim. So it's bittersweet because wonderful that we have one book left in our journey, which makes, at least to me, feel great that we've accomplished so much. But also that sense of sadness of completion and not knowing what comes exactly next. So let's get started. Vayitchazek Shlomo ben David al malchuto v'Adonai Elohav imo vayigadlehu lemala. Shlomo, the son of David, he was chazak. He took good, strong, firm hold of his kingdom because God was with him and God made him great. God made him gadol. Right, we talked about it, that the differences between the Divrei hayamim version of David, different David's advice to his son before he passes away. There's no Adoniyahu here. There's no son of David, older son than Shlomo of David, who proclaims himself as king, and then David and Nathan. David, because of Nathan and Bathsheba's, the opening chapter of the book of Melachim, come to Shlomo's aid. We don't have anything like that. It's a very smooth transition. Again, different book, Divrei hayamim, not as much, we should say, history, but painting the Davidic family, David himself first. No Bathsheba incident no Bathsheba incident in the book of Divrei hayamim, and no struggle for the kingdom here for Shlomo. Shlomo just becomes king and God is with him. Vayomer Shlomo l'chol Yisrael l'sarei alafim v'ameot v'lashoftim l'chol nasi l'chol Yisrael roshei avot. So Shlomo is going, now it says, calls all the officers, of the thousands, of the hundreds, right, different battalion commanders and different, leaders in the governmental system, and the judges and the chiefs of all Israel and the heads of all the clans. He calls them to come with him. Vayalchu Shlomo v'chol kol imo labama asher b'givon ki sham haya oel moed Elohim asher asa Moshe v'Adonai b'midbar. And Shlomo calls them to come with him to go to Givon, because that's where the tent of meeting that was made by Moshe, the servant of God, back in the desert, right? So here we see in this book, and we've talked a lot in Divrei hayamim about how it's a book during the Second Temple period to show the people you're a continuation. This is right. You're the Kohanim. The Kohanim were in the first temple, and now the second temple, and you're there as well. And here, this book is telling us, right? It's connecting in ways that we don't have it. Here it's talking about the stuff in Givon is all the way back to the Mishkan from Moshe in the book of Melachim in Parag Gimel, where it tells this similar story. It doesn't say that. So here again, we're showing sort of our claim, who we are as a people, and how significant and important it is, and how we've been doing this for millennia already, let alone today, even back then. So everybody goes with him to Givon. We're told that the Ark of the Covenant is not there because the Ark David had brought up to Jerusalem from Kiryat Yearim, which is told to us again, was told in the book of Shmuel, was told in the book of Divrei hayamim, again, different focus. And the altar of bronze, which Betzalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, had made, was also there before the tabernacle of the Lord. And Shlomo and the assemblage, all the people went there. They gathered there to ask of it. Vayidroshehu, right? They went to Bidoresh to ask of it, to connect with God. Vayal Shlomo Sham al Mizbeach Hanechoshet Livnei Adonai Shelo Moed Vayal Lav Olot Aleph. Shlomo ascended the bronze altar, and he offered 1,000 sacrifices. We talked about, it's Shlomo is the issue with Shlomo, which we won't see here. Excess, too many wives, too many sacrifices, too much money, too many horses, etc., etc. Here, one of the things, the 1,000 sacrifices are mentioned here. Ha'alef l'cha Shlomo, the 1,000 sacrifices. But we saw mentioned in as opposed to in the book of Shmuel, we never saw it. In Divrei hayamim, we have David already doing it when he is preparing and getting everything ready for the Beit HaMikdash with Shlomo, because he is not allowed to build it. And thus, as a result of him gathering the people together in Givon and having a strong kingdom and people who are following him and showing his love and service to God by going to the Mishkan, showing sort of his fidelity and his not just his fidelity and his loyalty, but his his sort of devotion to God. God is, what is he doing? He doesn't say, come and we're gonna make a big party for me about me being the king. No, we're gonna go together to the Mishkan. We're gonna go show our devotion to God. That's what's most important. Thus, we have Balayla Hahu, Nir Elohim Shlomo Vayarmelo Shalma Atain Lach. And then that night, as we saw back in the book of Kings, God comes to Shlomo and says, what can I give you? You were very gracious, very kind to my father David, and you made me the king, his successor. Ata Adonai Elohim, Yamein Dvarchaim David Avi Ki Atem Lachtani Al Amrav Kafar Haaretz. And now you've fulfilled the promise, what you said to David, that you've made me the king of a great people as numerous as the dust of the earth. So grant me the wisdom and knowledge to lead this people, for who can govern your great people? And we have basically the same answer. There, Shlomo asked for a leiv lada'at. He asked for a knowing heart to judge the Jewish people. Here, right? It's basically the same. He asked for wisdom and knowledge to lead God's people. There, it's much the judgment is more emphasized there, and it's not surprising because it's right. The David and the Shlomo of Divrei hayamim are much more sort of Torah leaders, right? They're leaders. It's Torah. It's not just the judicial. It's not just the judging aspect. And much like there, Vayomer Elohim, we're in verse 11, Pasuk Yud Aleph, the Shlomo, God responds to Shlomo, Yana sharita zotim levavcha v'lo shalta osher nechasim v'chavod v'et nefesh sonecha v'gam yamim rabim lo shalta v'tishal lecha chochma u'mada asher tishpot tami asher imlachticha alav. And God says, Shlomo, because you didn't ask for wealth or lots of real estate or great glory and respect, right? You didn't ask for a long life, but you asked for the wisdom and knowledge to be able to govern my people over whom I made you king. Therefore, hachokma v'amada natun lach, v'osher nechasim uchvod etein lach, asher lo hayachin l'mlachim asher lefnech v'achrecha lo yikain. Wisdom and knowledge will be given to you, as well as wealth and property and respect, that will all be given to you like no king has had before, nor will any have after. You could ask the question whether that really is true about the entire world, but we'll say for the Jewish world. Shlomo from the shrine of Givon, in the tent of meeting, went to Jerusalem and reigned over all of Israel. So he's given what God offers him, just like God is going to give him, and he is a strong king. And then what does he do? Vayasov Shlomo rechav parashim vayilo elef arba meot rechav u'shnei masar elef parashim vaynichim barei rechav im hamelech b'Yerushalayim. He assembles chariots and horsemen. He has 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horses in the chariot towns, and with the king in Yerushalayim. This is the demonstration that he has a great kingdom. Vaytein hamelech et hakesav et hazav b'Yerushalayim kapanim v'et harazim natan kishik asher bashvela larov. And the king made silver and gold as plentiful in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars as plentiful as sycamores, and shvela, meaning everybody's wealthy. Everybody's got gold and silver. The people are living a very, very extravagant, may be the wrong word, but they're living a comfortable life. They have the ability to have gold and silver. They're not suffering. They're not worried about putting food on the table, as we of course saw what will be in the future from this time, but the time so many times during the books of Melachim, of famines and different things of that sort. That's not the way it is then. Shlomo's horses were imported from Egypt and from Q, and the king's traders would buy them in Kvei. They would buy them there to bring to Israel, which may be a little bit of a sense of giving a compliment to Shlomo, because what does it say in the story in Dvarim, not the story in Dvarim, when it talks about the restrictions on the king? It says V'lo yashuv et am Mitzrayma leman harbotzus. He shouldn't bring the people back to Egypt in order to get many horses. And here Shlomo is not going back to Egypt. Yes, he's getting a lot of horses, but he's not bringing back the people to Egypt. He's not going to Egypt. It's just some of the king traders would go there and they bring them back. Vayalu vayotzim Mitzrayim merkava b'sheish meot kesef v'sus b'chamishim u'mea v'chein l'chol malchei achitim u'malchei aram bi'adam yotzi. A chariot imported from Egypt cost 600 shekels of silver. A horse 150, and in turn they were explored by them to all the kings of the Hittites and the kings of the Arameans. So, right, so this is their trade route, trade partners from them to the others. And right, horses were oftentimes used in war and battle. We see it here, chariots and horsemen. So they must have felt a great sense of security as a great power if they're selling to people who potentially are their enemies, the Hittim, the Arameans. They're selling horses to them. They are seemingly not worried. Livnot bayit l'shem Adonai uvayit l'malchuto. And here, verse 18, last verse in the chapter, goes to a different place where Shlomo has this. He has this all of a sudden, this wonderful idea. The light bulb comes up, and he says that I should now build a house for God. And obviously, we know that that is the way it's described in this book. Is that's the purpose of Shlomo. So Shlomo here, he has wealth and he has all of these things, but the purpose of his life, the way this book is described, is the building of the Beit HaMikdash. In Sefer Melachim, obviously the building of the Beit HaMikdash is the most impactful, most important, most significant building that he builds. But there is a lot more talk, we won't see as much here, about the building of his palace and the other large building projects that he does. It's really much more about the Beit HaMikdash. And here, obviously, again, a difference when we go back from the Shlomo, from David to Shlomo. There, David said, Shlomo, you want to have a peaceful kingdom? These are the troublemakers. You have to know how to deal with them. And these are the good guys. You have to reward them. Right? People will be in line if they see that if they're good, they get rewarded. And if they're troublemakers, they get sidelined. And that's how you will ensure peace. We don't have that. We have David's public instructions to Shlomo in this book are about the Beit HaMikdash. Shlomo sort of consolidates the kingdom. He has a little bit of a governmental, he's got people on his side. He has a certain amount of wealth that he's brought to the people. And with that, he's able now to say, now is the appropriate time. Now is the time for us to start the most important building campaign, which is the building of the Beit HaMikdash. And we'll see how he goes about doing it here in the next chapter, come tomorrow. And of course, we will compare it to some of the ways it is described in the book of Melachim, where, of course, the story is slightly, or one could say very, different.